Epic Games. Well, more to be specific, Epic Games free weekly games. Okay. I think we can do that one more time because I am not sounding like some dying old husk in the start of this video. So one more time from the start. Now, Epic Games. It's mainly known for two things. Well, the first obviously being Fortnite, and the second being Epic Games free games that they give out weekly to anyone that wants it and has an account. We all know about these games, but we never really care about them until they release a big AAA title like GTA or Guardians of the Galaxy. But what about those smaller games? Those games we never really care for and just always skip over and just leave in our library for years and years.
Hello there.
In this video, I'll just be playing through these old games and just giving them a chance for once. This video is going to be big. This video is going to be based on Husk's and Joeseppi's old videos where they just play and explore dead Steam games. Alright, to play some ground rules, I'll be playing each game for roughly around 3 hours, then giving it a rating and just sharing my thoughts on the game. This is a completely different style video to what I'm used to making, so if you do like it, please comment down below what games you want to see in the future. I'll just make more. Alright, I'm going to let the video start here. Have a nice day, enjoy it. Okay, the first game we're playing is called Undying, and it's about a mother and their son in like a zombie survival low poly setting. A little known fact about me is that I study animation at university, and one of my first ever animations was this low poly girl walking. This being that the low poly like art style is kind of like familiar with me, and I really love how it looks. Alright, to get on with the game, I selected the medium difficulty called Adventure, and then instantly got hit with some interesting dialogue.
Mom, are you okay?
No!
After that conversation, you get hit with your first task where you got to make a bandage to basically just heal yourself and repair your arm. You pretty much just found the materials by rummaging around in random bags and closets until you found all the materials to make the bandage. I then crafted it up and applied it to my arm, which then gave me the incredible privilege of walking down my own stairs. After getting a little bird's eye view of the main part of the house, I kind of got a gist of the game with everything being broken. You got to like repair it to use the items. With the tool bench being the first thing I repaired, with me having all the items at just at hand already. After messing around with the controls, I realized there was a stealth part to the game with me then. Okay, after that, you then get your first look at the outside world. Bro, my just bare hands are just fucking tearing apart this tree, man. God damn. I then did a little bit of rummaging around and everything around I could find, just gathering some general materials. After feeding Cody an absolute delicacy being canned meat, we went home and explored the garden. Oh my god, a zombie! Cody, stay back! Such an American name as well. Can we just go Cody? Mum, I'm scared. Don't be afraid. Luckily, it's stuck in a trap. Bro, why is it so slow? Be careful, Mum. Mama's got this. Yeah, bam, right, man. Gimme. Absolute fucking knocker. Look at that. That's what it took you down. Weakling. Oh, I already know Cody's about to be like this. I'm about to be the brute power. You know, the powerhouse, and Cody's going to be like the little sniper inside. I need a weapon. Cody, man. Calm down. Okay. A little cuddle. Friendship cuddle. Do I tell him to... Yo! I think Dad will get mad. He spent so long making it. Hey, is Dad even alive? I'm going to be honest. That's the real question here, Cody. Oh, something's in here, man. Something is in there. Hopefully it's not Dad, but something is in there. After exploring around a little, I found out I had a neighbor called Mary, who I ended up trading 2 bottles of water for 4 seeds, which in my voice you can kind of tell. Little greedy bitch. I was not too happy about, but she did give me whereabouts on the next places I could head out, being the farmhouse. Exploring down the street, I then found a zombie on top of a truck and thought it'd be a perfect time for Cody to show off his new skills. And then I realized it's Cody. How do I stop Cody from shooting? I then headed to bed, ending day 1 of the playthrough. But there was a real question in mind here. Cody sleep with me? Which I guess we'll never know. Yes. Okay, to start day 2, I made a crowbar and a dagger. that would help me fight off when I was going to go explore the new areas that I've unlocked. I need that thing. Farmhouse. Alright, well, heading to the farmhouse, I guess my character has autism because they got sidetracked and went to some other place, but alright, we allow it. But it did allow me to meet my first wild zombie. I charged up my dagger and absolutely combo fucking hit this guy. After semi-using Cody as a meat shield, I then thought it'd be appropriate to spam shit into his face, as a mother should always do. I'm pretty sure I went straight to his head because Cody had definitely something else on mind here. Cody, what are you looking at? Alright, ignoring Cody's interesting behavior, I then found this woman who I'm mostly just going to skip over because she kind of didn't really do anything. And then she fades off into the distance. Okay, after comboing a nearby tree, we got in our car and headed out to the farmhouse. You were instantly presented with a zombie cop, I guess you had to fight off. So I quickly got work to that. Can we talk about how badass that feature makes you feel? Like you stab him, and then you stab him again. It's just, that pure adrenaline. That's beautiful. I then was presented by an overweight. Wait a damn second. How the hell are you overweight in an apocalypse? Like, man, I'm struggling to even feed my son. And look at him. He's fucking got layers. Bro doesn't even need a blanket at night. Being very responsible mum, I decide to fight him. Which he then opens the gate and instantly starts firing on me. I was so jump scared by this moment. I genuinely shook. I tried to stun lock him, but he just simply walked away and aimed his gun at me. Being 10 HP, I was scared for my life and could not end the playthrough here. So I instantly try to run away.
Cody, run!
But don't worry, guys. I have the ultimate survival tool. A meat shield. Also being your son. After getting Cody to tank almost 5 shots to the fucking body, I come around and finish off the job. You are then clearly presented with your traumatic events, with the wife running away in agony to the house. But, guys, positive note. Upgrade. Backpack is for yeah, damn taking that. Don't. Me and Cody were both low and the backpack was full, so after this fight, we did end up going home though. Alright, after arriving home, I then tried to heal me and Cody to only realize it costs a lot to heal in this game. Like, oh my god, how are you meant to find all this stuff and keep up with it? So I came to the conclusion, me and Cody, just gonna have to face being half HP, that there's nothing we can do about it here. Anyway, then being an incredibly smart individual, I then ignored the character's pleas for us to go to bed and start wandering out outside at very low HP. While wandering around the fountain, I get presented with this screen, which, you know, is lovely. With this the first time this happening to me, I then, as quick as I can, run back to the bed and instantly go to sleep. After getting some clearly well-needed sleep, I headed back out onto our street to try find some more materials to heal me and Cody. This of course meant I got sidetracked and ended up firing the zombies behind a barrel. When I started hitting it with my baseball bat, somehow it ended up going through the wall and hitting them on the other side, so I pretty much didn't even need to fight them in the first place. Cody was having one of his mini panic attacks, so I ended up giving him a little cuddle to know it's all good, or getting right to looting the bodies. I ended up not finding any materials to heal us, but I did find enough scrap materials to repair the food station, in which I could add dirty water bottles to and produce fresh, clean drinking water. I then cooked my first basic meal on this food station. Then being the fat asses we are, we both ate all of them. Nice hot meal. I then thought my greedy ass neighbor remembered she was trading water bottles for seeds, and since you kind of have unlimited water after this point, I then instantly went over, filled them up, and gave them straight to her. Mary, being the shut-in she is, she then offers me to come often, however that will not be happening again in this story. I then changed my attention to the zombie that was stuck on a track towards the start and worked out that you could repair a ramp almost to get up to him and fight him. I then again used my incredible meat shield, aka my son, and finished off the zombie. I then gave my emotional bait a nice little cuddle to raise his happiness. I then even gave him a treat for being such a good decoy. The loot on top of the truck was pretty much basic, however you did get 7 bullets, which was critical because that was the first bullets I've got and the gun was empty when you get it, aka meaning I can shoot the gun. I then gathered some more supplies and headed off to the farmhouse once again. After a short amount of looting, I clearly have an attention span of an owl, as I didn't even realise it was turning night as I was travelling there. However, this time I thought I would try brace it, as we all know where this is going to go. Seeing there was nowhere I could sleep, I headed off to the farmhouse to the right. There was an abundance of loot in here, clearly diverting my mind, apart from the fact I need to sleep. I then ended up prying open a door and heading upstairs, in which you were then greeted by Uncle John eating alive Aunt Lily, which then definitely set off Cody's schizophrenia? While fighting the zombie, I did actually by accidentally step too close to the stairs and ended up going down them. However, after a quick loading screen, I went back up and finished the job. This time, however, I'm not exactly sure why I used the baseball bat instead of the knife, which is a much worse weapon, leading to me almost dying and actually having to fight fully for my life to not die to one zombie. Nevertheless, I still managed to kill him, and all was good in the end. I was then finally presented with the "You will turn" screen, and as quick as I can, raced back to get home. Once I got home, I ran up the stairs and swiftly got into bed before starting day 4. I'm not exactly sure if this is a part of the game normally, or if it's because I've almost turned twice, but then I got hit with a symptom that I'm going to have to give myself, which is basically a debuff. I ended up choosing the Wounded Laceration, which is a debuff that every time I run to Cody, I lose 35 HP. But I only did that once, and I didn't even really mean to do it, so I highly doubt I'm ever going to be doing that again. Luckily, by this time, I had saved up enough resources to make basic bandages, allowing me and Cody to get back to 100 HP for me and 70 for Cody. Cody, however, was still hunched over every time he moves, looking like he's about to keel over, due to him almost dying of food. However, there was nothing really I could do, as I didn't have any food resources at the time I could feed him. So the best thought was to go to a different place and hopefully finding some food there that I could use to feed Cody. Upon arriving, I noticed there was a small, almost fight going on in an encaged area. However, my smart ass got distracted by the fact that you can get some gasoline out of the car and just stood there and watched them fight each other. This then meant when I finally joined in on the fight, half the people had already died. Also, I'm not exactly sure why I'm fighting a furry in a bear costume, but heyo, I guess that's what they were into before they got turned. After killing the bear and watching it explode into green gas, I guess you would say, I ended up fighting the last zombie and realized that everyone had died. So I don't know if that was a critical part of the story. However, I guess I'll never know.
Everyone's dead.
After giving Cody a little comfort cuddle, I clearly did not learn from my mistakes and decided to go straight from the unknown area to the farmhouse, only to arrive at night once again. However, this time I did in fact go home straight away as I was presented with the "You will turn" page. On day 5, I was presented with another symptom, kind of getting the gist that every single day I'm going to have to do this
not
now.
another one of these.
I ended up going with the same Wounded Laceration defect I chose last time, which was every time I rush to Cody, I lose 35 HP. I then straight away headed to the farmhouse and worked out that you can actually plant the seeds you got from the neighbour in the garden patch. And after adding a bottle of water, they will start growing into some beautiful potatoes. After a bit of gardening, I got back in the car and went over one block next to the farmhouse, which I noticed there was another area that I'd unlocked. You got presented with this room, which I guess was like a mini store in the game, as you could trade with other people that lived there. However, I was currently broke and didn't feel like I needed it, which I really should have done it in the grand scheme. However, so I just left and never went back. Clearly enjoying my new hobby of horticulture, I then crafted and planted some new seeds in the back garden. Right now I was very much prioritizing getting Cody some food, as he was still starving and his health was slowly going down. I then ended up repairing Cody's target, in which that he could constantly shoot to level up his shooting skills. When coming back inside, I then noticed I had a new story mission on the TV, which then pretty much presented me with new areas I could go to. Finally, I then got some sleep and started day 6, which I was then once again presented with a new symptom. I thought it would be the best idea to end up lowering her IQ by 50 points and picking the symptom that makes her unable to read. In the very dire hunt to find Cody some food before he starves to death, I ended up thought it would be a good idea to go to the new supermarket location I had unlocked. However, this is when everything went completely downhill, as I was way too out of my league in this area. Upon arriving, you are instantly presented with a zombie in your path, so I thought it'd be a good idea to test out the gun and shoot one bullet at it before finishing off with the baseball bat. I then noticed you were completely surrounded by zombies, and I definitely did not have a lot of health or ammo to deal with all of this. So I ended up taking the stealth approach to move around. However, this is when everything went completely south, as I ended up walking into an enclosed area and started to panic of what to do. Eventually, I ended up getting noticed by a zombie, and then everything just went tits up, and we just belted it as much as we could. These zombies must have their crocs in sports mode, as they were almost faster than me, meaning I had to pull out my gun and just shoot as many as I could to try survive. Cody being Cody and being a meat shield tanked a couple hits and was put all the way back down to 8 HP, which really set me panicking. And not let Cody die, guys. Oh my god. Cody. I'm gonna be, can I just leave him here? This is when everything went into critical mode, as I had nothing to heal Cody or feed him. This meant he was either going to die from a zombie, or he was going to die from being hungry. I very much desperately tried to search around, however, when the next zombie found us, it ended up hitting Cody, bringing him into this downed state. I did end up killing the zombie, however, then was presented with the fact I need a first aid kit to heal him, which is incredibly hard to make and definitely did not have zero of the resources needed. In full panic mode, I ended up searching around local dustbins, as I don't know, I guess I thought they could be a first aid kit in a dustbin. However, only a few seconds later, I was met with my demise with the game over screen and Cody died. This was the end of my first story, with it also being just under the 3-hour mark. Therefore, it wasn't going to be that long anyway before I had to end and view the game. Alrighty, let's get into the reviews. I'm going to be grading the reviews in 4 sections, being the art style, the soundtrack, the overall just gameplay and how it feels, and then the story mode. To start with the art style, I absolutely love it. Of course, I'm a little bit biased because I just like the low poly style. However, I really do think it fits like this style of game. As if you're not a big AAA title, it's very hard to make a good looking zombie game without it just looking fucked. Therefore, hence, I'm very glad they went for this low poly style, because they made it look beautiful without needing crazy amounts of budget or time to make it. In the art style, I'm going to give it 4 points. I'll be rating each section out of 5. Alright, moving on to the soundtrack. This game, I'm sure you guys have also been blessed by listening to this video, but this game has a beautiful melody soundtrack, which is just so comforting to play in the background. I mean, most of the time with these games, I just turn off the soundtrack, unless in this occasion where it's just absolutely beautiful and I would love to listen to it. For the music option, I'm going to give it a 4. Alright, for the gameplay section, this is where the game himmers a little bit due to it being... This is when the game quivers a little bit for me, as don't get me wrong, it was very much fun to play. However, there was certain aspects which just felt a bit too long for me, such as I really couldn't find much healing or food for Cody. And I don't know if that was just me being an idiot. Guys, it could be, I'm going to be honest, it's not hard. But in my sense, it did feel like it was a bit overwhelming, as I was just mostly focusing on the healing factor of Cody and not actually that much time in the rest of the parts of the game. However, things I do really love in this game as a survival, it's got stuff like teaching Cody, so you can actually get him to develop skills, such as you can teach him to craft, you can teach him to shoot better and do more damage, I like that so much, as it just makes the game a lot more like progressive, as it's not like just based on what weapon you use and hit the zombies with. It means that you can actually develop your characters more throughout the story and not just the gear. My review for the gameplay was a solid 3 out of 5. I mean, for the story aspect, let's be honest, it's a little basic, but there wasn't much room to work with in the first place. It's just a zombie apocalypse, with you being the mum and trying to look after your son at the same time. Clearly, I didn't get very far into the story as well, so really don't judge me in that section. But ayo, I did obviously my best. Alright, I'm sure the story is going to be much better in the time being, but for where I was at, I'm also going to give it a 3 out of 5, as I just didn't really experience it that much. Alright, my rating for the game is 14 out of 20 Goonie points. This is my first ever story time video, so this is going to be the end of part 1. However, if you guys like this and this video format does work for this channel, I'll be very much happy. I have recorded 3 new games, and I was going to make it into one super long video. However, this was already half an hour itself, and I didn't really want to cut it down. So if you guys want to see the new series, please, as much as you can, make this video go blow up. Send it to all your friends and just comment anything, truly anything in the comments. I'll love it. Anyway, this is the end of the video. Hope you have a very nice day, and see you.